Hi, this is Josh Marshall. It's Tuesday, January 22nd, 2008. In a moment, we're going to give you some highlights of last night's Democratic debate. But before that, we're going to give you a quick update of where the Democratic race stands. Now, this Saturday, the Democrats are holding their primary in South Carolina, and it looks pretty likely that Barack Obama will win that race. But the big story is coming up in 2 weeks. That's Super Tuesday, as they're calling it, February 5th, when there are going to be big states with lots of delegates all over the country holding primaries and caucuses. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at those trend line graphs put together by Professor Charles Franklin at pollster.com. Now, this is the graph for Florida. Florida's primary is next Tuesday, but the Democratic National Committee penalized Florida, so the primary actually will not be awarding delegates. So technically, it doesn't matter. However, Florida is a really big state, so what happens there is pretty significant and will tell us something what's going to happen on Super Tuesday. As you can see right here, Barack Obama has made up a lot of ground over the last few months, but he's still way behind in Florida. Now let's look at another graph. This is California. Again, he's made up some ground, but Barack Obama is still well behind Hillary Clinton. Now here's another big state, New Jersey, again on February 5th, and as you can see, still a big margin separating Barack Obama from Hillary Clinton. So as you look at these numbers, here's the question you have to ask. February 5th is only 2 weeks away, and Barack Obama is trailing Hillary Clinton in almost every state. Again, he'll probably win South Carolina. He seems to be doing well in Georgia, but Hillary has a margin over him just about everywhere. So the big question is, what does he do over the next 2 weeks to change the shape of the race? It's not completely clear to me what that's going to be. There's South Carolina, but again, people are expecting he's going to win that. Florida, he'll probably lose, but again, Florida doesn't technically count for any delegates, so it's basically a beauty contest. So again, does Barack Obama have the time to really change the shape of this race? Now here's one more point to keep in mind that somewhat modifies what I've been saying up to this point. In the Republican races, almost all the primaries on February 5th are winner take all. That means if you win by 51%, you get all the delegates, sort of like it is in a national election. However, none of the primaries are like that on the Democratic side. They're all allotted proportionally. There's some little differences on the margin, but that's basically how it goes in all the states. So hypothetically, if Hillary Clinton wins everywhere by a 60-40 margin, a commanding margin, she'll still only get 60% of the delegates, which will mean that there still won't be that much room separating them on February 6th. So what does it all mean? I think it means that Hillary Clinton is in a strong position to slowly start consolidating her lead and eventually win the nomination. But it's going to take a long time, and it's going to go well beyond February 5th. That is, unless Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton does something that really changes the shape of the race. But is there enough time? Now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll show you some highlights of last night's Democratic debate.
At the tone, leave a message. We'll get back to you.
Hey, Verasfire. A Bloomberg run hurts the American people more than the current candidates. Independents always make the campaign a mess because our system doesn't support a third party. They just split the vote and give us a president most folks didn't vote for.
It was just a few days ago that Senator Clinton asserted that she was the strongest candidate when it comes to fiscal responsibility. She says that you have failed in that regard in the tune of some $50 billion worth of new programs that you cannot account for.
What you said wasn't true. We account for every single dollar that we propose. This, I think, is one of the things that's happened during the course of this campaign, that there's a set of assertions made by Senator Clinton as well as her husband that are not factually accurate.
It is sometimes difficult to understand what Senator Obama has said because as soon as he is confronted on it, he says that's not what he meant. He has said in the last week that he really liked the ideas of the Republicans over the last 10 to 15 years.
What I said is that Ronald Reagan was a transformative political figure because he was able to get Democrats to vote against their economic interests to form a majority to push through their agenda, an agenda that I objected to because while I was working on those streets, watching those folks see their jobs shipped overseas, you were a corporate lawyer sitting on the board of Walmart. I was fighting these fights. What you said about Iran,
we got a long time to go. You'll have a good opportunity.
We're just getting warmed up. Now, you talked about Ronald Reagan being a transformative political leader. I did not mention his name.
Your husband did.
Well, I'm here. He's not.
Okay, well, I can't tell who I'm running against sometimes.
Well, I was fighting against those ideas when you were practicing law and representing your contributor, Resco, in his slum landlord business in inner city Chicago.
Hold on one second, hold on. I don't know if you want to get involved in this, Senator Edwards.
Are there 3 people in this debate? Not 2. This kind of squabbling, how many children is this going to get health care? How many people are going to get an education from this? How many kids are going to be able to go to college because of this?
In the Illinois State Senate, Senator Obama voted 130 times present. That's not yes, that's not no, that's maybe. Voted present on limiting the rights of victims of sexual abuse. Voted present time and time again.
The bill with respect to privacy for victims of sexual abuse is a bill I had actually sponsored, Hillary. After I had sponsored it and helped get it passed, it turned out that there was a legal provision in it that was problematic and needed to be fixed so that it wouldn't be struck down.
What I didn't hear was an explanation for why over 100 times you voted present instead of yes or no when you had a choice to vote up or down.
I'll be happy to answer it, because in Illinois, oftentimes you'd vote present in order to indicate that you had problems with a bill that otherwise you might be willing to vote for. And oftentimes you'd have a strategy that would help move the thing forward. With respect to universal coverage, every expert that's looked at this has said there is not a single person out there who's going to want health care who will not get it under my plan.
The problem with this argument is you can make exactly the same argument about Social Security. I mean, you think about the analogy. What George Bush says is he wants people to be able to get out of the Social Security system, elect to get out of the Social Security system. Well, that's exactly what this argument is. I believe that there is not a single man, woman, and child in America who's not worthy of health care.
I promised Senator Clinton that she could...
Do you think Bill Clinton was our first black president?
Bill Clinton did have an enormous affinity with the African American community, and still does, and I think that's well earned. You know, I would have to, investigate more, Bill's dancing abilities and some of this other stuff before I accurately judged whether he was in fact a brother.
Senator Clinton,
I'm
weigh
sure
in on
that can be arranged.